Welcome back. We had another interesting day for Bitcoin and crypto. Both actually held pretty well today. Bitcoin is right under 84,000, which is the same point as this morning. We had a little up and down, but overall it stayed pretty solid. And a lot of alts stayed pretty solid as well, right? And of course, we had more tariff news, some scary stuff. So I'll talk about it and I'll speculate why Trump is so adamant about starting these tariff wars or just having tariffs in general, why he feels they're so important. And also why it's still so important to be in crypto and hold Bitcoin. Okay, first of all, this came out today. Canada is going to impose a 25% retaliation tariffs on 21 billion worth of U.S. goods. And this morning I already covered, or last night, Ontario, got really upset, pulled all the alcohol from America, but also was threatening to place tariffs on U.S. electricity. Then Trump threatened to put 50% tariff on Canada's aluminum. And then they kind of worked it out, okay? Not fully. They're still talking, but there's still this retaliation tariff that's coming, and they're still talking about it. But it's not just Canada. It's not just Mexico or China. Europe is going to retaliate too, and they're going to do a 25% tariff on U.S. goods as well, right? So there are a lot of things going on. And come April 4th, I believe, there's going to be retaliation tariff on all countries with the U.S. So obviously Trump is going hard with tariffs. We know that. We've been talking about it for a long time, right? Causing a lot of market disruptions, a lot of market fear and FUD and uncertainty. And we just don't know why, right? We could speculate. I mean, here may be one reason. The new Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, is saying that Trump wants to eliminate income tax for anyone earning less than $150,000 a year. That would be very, very positive. He's talked about it. No one really believed him. If he's going to make it happen, I can see how he's trying to utilize money earned from tariffs to offset that, because that's a whole lot of money you're removing as income for the U.S., right? Whether it's doable, whether he's going to collect enough, no one really knows, right? But that may be one reason. But there is one other, well, actually several other big reasons, but I'll lay it out for you guys, okay? And you guys know this because I've talked about this before. Debt. The U.S. debt is enormous, okay? This came out today too. Year to date, I don't know why year to date is actually 5 months instead of 3. I guess the year goes a little bit before December. So up to year to date, 5 months, the U.S. deficit passed over $1 trillion, okay? And the way we're going, the interest payment alone will exceed $1 trillion this year. So obviously, irresponsible spending is a real thing, okay? I know Trump and Elon is trying to change that with Doge, but it's going to take some time. And there are still many, many, many parts of the government that still needs changing. And this will never, in my opinion, be resolved. And it's not just limited to the U.S. Any country out there has this problem. That's why every country has a deficit. Doesn't matter if you're in Europe or Australia or Asia, U.S., South America, doesn't matter. Every country out there has a deficit because every country mismanages its money in some way and overspends. And this is a real issue. And there's only 3 ways to make money as a nation. Taxes. Okay, so if you're removing taxes, then you have to collect it from tariffs, I guess, right? But taxes normally. Also, you could print money, which is something that many, many, many countries do all the time, which is why we have inflation rate. But we don't really want to print more money at this point in time because we already have this inflation problem. And the third way is to borrow money by issuing bonds. notes and bonds and treasury yield, right? So basically, you borrow, and you borrow a ton if you can, especially in the US with our triple A rating. We issue bonds all the time. But the problem with bonds is you need to pay it back. When they mature, you need to pay that money back. And in the meantime, you need to pay interest. So within the next 12 months, we have a $6 trillion problem. We have $6 trillion worth of bonds maturing that we have to pay back. But what if we don't have the money? Well, then we have to issue more bonds. Okay? We have to borrow more money in order to pay back what we owe. So, I think the tariffs have a lot to do with this. Hopefully the thinking is the tariffs will pay off some of this, or the tariffs. Here's another theory: the tariffs are meant to scare the markets. Okay, the tariffs are meant to cause confusion, cause the markets to crash, because if that happens, then Fed Chair Powell has no choice but to lower the Fed fund rate, lower interest rates. And that helps the US because with lower interest rates, when we borrow money with the newly issued bonds, our interest rates will be lower. Okay? We want to issue bonds with lower interest rates, not higher interest rates. So if we do get Fed Chair Powell to cut the rate in some way, it's going to help us pay back the $6 trillion we need to a little bit easier, right? But right now, because the economy isn't suffering that much and inflation is still high, Fed Chair Powell doesn't really want to cut rates. But maybe the tariffs is just all big ploy to cause confusion and crash markets. That's the working theory, right? Whether or not that's true or whether or not Trump has really thought all this out, I don't know. But I've talked about this before. The financial system, how money works, everything is just a giant Ponzi. It's unsustainable. And this is the reason why Bitcoin was created. This is why Satoshi created Bitcoin after the housing bubble in 2008. Because we're always going to be led by people that will run, I guess, our money to the ground, right? With inflation, everything was going to get more expensive, and things won't ever change. That's why we need to hold hard assets like Bitcoin. And that's why people that truly understand, people, companies, countries that understand, continue to buy and hold Bitcoin despite the volatility, because they know this. You have Bitcoin miner BitDeer that increased their holding by 75%. They hold more than 1,000 Bitcoin now. They certainly bought the dip. Okay, it's certainly better to buy low than high. If you love Bitcoin at 100,000, why would you not love it more at 83,000? That's always the funny thing. People love to FOMO, but they hate to buy the dip. When Bitcoin was at 109,000, think about how many people were FOMOing. But now that we're down to 83, how many people are thinking about panic selling, right? If you truly understand Bitcoin and know what it's about, you know that even though market sell-off, the broader market sell-off, Wall Street selling off, retail panicking, right? Even while it did, the fundamentals didn't change. Bitcoin was still created to go against all these things. So short term, it sucks. Long term, Bitcoin's going to thrive. So you still have a lot of people that believe in it are still buying the dip. Rumble also bought the dip. You got El Salvador buying the dip. You got so many that are buying the dip. And Sailor's working on it. And many whales, I showed you guys, are working on it as well. Right? The fundamentals of Bitcoin has never been stronger. And even though the alts are weak, things are changing. I've said that. That's part of the fundamentals. The landscape in America is changing. We may be getting a whole bunch of SEC approvals come June. We may be getting a whole lot of new ETFs. Remember, you got to take the bad with the good. Right now, yes, It sucks that Wall Street is selling off the ETFs, which is causing the funds to sell off the Bitcoins. Yes, but remember the good when the ETFs were buying Bitcoins, and that's what caused Bitcoin to jump up so much so fast. It's going to be the same thing for these, right? We got a lot of great things happening. Even Franklin Templeton, one of the biggest asset managers out there, is trying to come out their own Solana ETF. Think about that. And the Ripple case is going to be over soon. That's going to be a big thing. And Ripple's going to get their own ETF. And Cardano, Hedera, Doge even. They're all going to get their ETFs. And with the changing landscape and more favorable regulations, things are going to go a whole lot better later this year. Even though things are scary now with all the tariffs and uncertainty, right? It could be part of a bigger plan to pay off the $6 trillion problem that we may be facing in the next 12 months. But regardless, okay, Bitcoin is the one to trust. Bitcoin is the one that's going to stay. So if you're a believer, you know this is the right cause, this is the right move, and short-term volatility sucks, but they're just distractions and we'll get through it. That's pretty much it. All right, guys, I'm going to keep it nice and short. I enjoy doing these short videos, so I'm going to continue to do them, but eventually I'm going to do probably this Friday, I'm going to do a live again. I am still feeling sick, that's why. But I do like I do enjoy doing short videos, and I think you guys enjoy watching short videos too. But let's see what happens tomorrow and tonight. Let's see if Asia and Europe continues to buy the dip, and let's see what happens with Wall Street today. We had a decent day. Okay, it wasn't a bad day. It wasn't a great day. It was a decent day. As long as we continue this way and get back to the mid 80s and build up to the 90s, we're looking pretty good. We're not retesting the low 70s, and that is very, very good. So stay strong, my friends. I know today is usually a DCA night, but everything is a bargain right now, okay? Everything is a bargain, so you choose. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys later. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.